The little cow without spots. Once upon a time, in a sunny, green meadow, there lived a little cow named Clara. Clara was just like all the other cows in the meadow except for one thing. Clara didn't have any spots. All the other cows had beautiful patches of brown and black on their white fur, but Clara's coat was completely white. At first, Clara didn't mind. She loved playing in the meadow, running through the tall grass, and eating sweet clover. But one day, as Clara was walking to the stream with her friend Molly, a brown cow with big spots, she overheard some cows talking. "Did you see Clara today?" said one cow with a black spot on her ear. "She doesn't have any spots at all." "I know," said another with a big, splattered patch on her back. "Isn't she kind of plain?" Clara's heart sank. She looked down at her white coat and suddenly felt very different. "Maybe I do need spots to be special," she thought. "I'll never be as pretty as the other cows." Determined to change, Clara had an idea. The next morning, while the other cows were grazing, Clara decided to give herself some spots. She found a small patch of mud near the barn and started rolling around in it. She wanted to make her coat look just like the other cows. Clara added more and more mud, hoping it would stick. But when she stood up and looked at herself in the reflection of a nearby pond, she saw something strange. The mud had made her coat look messy, not beautiful. She had patches of brown mud all over her, but they weren't the pretty spots she had imagined. Clara sighed, feeling even more discouraged than before. Just then, a soft voice called out. "Why the long face, Clara?" Clara looked up and saw an old, wise owl sitting on the branch above her. The owl's feathers were all different colors, brown, gray, and gold, but there was one thing they all had in common: they were beautiful in their own way. "I tried to give myself spots," Clara said, pointing to the muddy mess on her fur. "But now I just look dirty. I'm never going to be like the other cows." The owl hooted gently and fluffed its feathers. "Oh, Clara, there's more to being special than spots on your fur. What if I told you that being different can be your superpower?" Clara tilted her head. "A superpower? How can being different be a superpower?" The owl smiled. "Well, think about this. Have you ever noticed that when it's foggy in the meadow, everyone has a hard time seeing? But you, Clara, with your white coat, are easy to spot even in the fog. You could be the one to guide the other cows to safety when the fog rolls in. Your white coat is your gift, just like their spots are theirs." Clara's eyes grew wide. "I never thought about it that way." "Different isn't always bad, Clara," the owl continued. "Sometimes being different is exactly what the world needs." Clara stood up, feeling much better. She decided to wash off the mud and leave her coat just the way it was. The next day, when she saw the other cows again, she no longer felt sad about not having spots. "Hey, Clara," Molly the spotted cow said, waving. "What happened to the mud?" "It didn't stick." Clara grinned. "I learned something important, Molly. It's okay to be different." Molly tilted her head. "What do you mean?" Clara smiled and looked around at all the cows, each one with their own unique spots and patches. She felt proud of who she was and knew that her white coat was special in its own way. "I may not have spots, but I'm still special," Clara said. "And sometimes, being different is exactly what we need. I'm proud of who I am, and I don't need to change to fit in." The other cows nodded, and one by one, they all agreed. They realized that Clara's white coat was just as beautiful as their spots, and together, they all played, laughed, and enjoyed the day. From that day on, Clara never tried to change herself again. She embraced her white coat and the way she was. Whenever the fog rolled in, Clara would always lead the way, her white coat shining brightly, reminding everyone that sometimes, the best thing you can be is yourself, different and wonderful, just the way you are. The end.